Hello, and thank you all so much for joining me today. Our card of the day is the King of Pentacles from the Robin Wood Tarot. This was my very first deck, and I really love this deck. This card shows a king with black hair seated on a throne. In one hand is his scepter, in the other a golden pentacle. He is dressed richly, but wearing bedroom slippers. Ancient grapevines surround him, and the grass grows thickly underfoot. In the background, cultivated fields lead towards his castle. Behind that are misty hills and a sky the deep blue of twilight. Now this card means a rich man, spiritually, materially, or both, a father figure who is dependable and generous, someone who is steady, reliable, earthy, helpful, sensual, a place or situation in which these qualities become apparent around you. Now, when the artist started to design this card, she wanted to convey both a feeling of great wealth and a feeling of ease and sensuality. She wanted the king to somehow look like he was completely comfortable, both in the sense of surrounding himself with comfort and being comfortable with himself. So she decided to dress him richly and then put slippers on his feet. No tight pinching shoes for this one. His cloak is a rich grass green to show his alignment with green, richly growing things. The border is brown for the earth with a design of golden grapevines for richness, abundance, and joy. It's lined with brown fur for richness, sensuality, and the earth. She gave him a coat of the richest purple she could make to show his majesty and wealth. It's lined with brown fur and quilted to show earth again, and opulence, and comfort. The quilting pattern is squares to show that even though he may be acutely aware of how things feel to him, he isn't totally hedonistic. There is something about him that remains foursquare. His head is still on straight. There is a pattern of a bull's head wreathed in flowers worked on his breast in golden thread to show his connections to the earth again and his strength and virility. The flowers show his love of pleasurable things as well. And there is also an overtone of stubbornness, which often comes out in someone who is represented by this card. His belt is gold and has a square buckle to show his strength and reliability. There is an oval inside the square to show unity and completeness. She made his under tunic cloth of gold to show that deep inside this man is pure gold. It shows again his steadiness and reliability, and also his generosity and mental, emotional, and physical wealth. The design on it is known as the Celtic Tree of Life, and there is to underline the whole theme of flourishing growth, prosperity, and living. It also has grapevines again to show the joy, abundance, and pleasure that these vines symbolize all throughout. His stockings are burgundy as an echo to the wine that can be made from those grapes, and he is wearing slippers to show that comfort is very important to him. He may be a king and he may be in a position of importance, but that's no reason to suffer. They are gray to show the balance this gives him. He enjoys luxury, but he isn't ostentatious. He's not doing this to impress others, but because it feels good. On his head he wears a crown of gold that is shaped like a bull's horns, with a spike in the center. The horns, of course, are there to underscore the whole connection with the bull and earth, strength and virility. The spike is what crowns used to be about. It's there to show the divine light that shines upon a king and his connection to deity. He is wearing a wreath of grapevines and wheat that almost obscures the crown. This is because living things are more important to him than symbols. The vines once more show the love of the love of life, prosperity, and pleasure. The wheat symbolizes prosperity as well, and goodness, wholesomeness, and the whole life-death mystery, which is one of the aspects of the earth. His hair and beard are black and curly because that is the traditional coloring for the suit, and some people use that when they read the cards. In his right hand he holds a scepter to show his authority. Never mistake this man for anything other than a king, in spite of his geniality and good nature. He may be warm, generous, and kindly, but he's also used to having everyone obey him. In his left hand he holds a pentacle. Besides being the symbol of the suit, it shows his connection with the earth once more. His is made of silver and gold to show his richness extends into both the spiritual and material planes. It is decorated with a pattern of leaves to show growth and vitality. This connection isn't a concept, it's a live thing. He sits in a bower of ancient grapevines which are covered with leaves and fruit. Grapevines, according to legend, never die unless they are killed. There are vines in parts of Italy that are hundreds of years old and are considered immortal. They have been producing year after year for centuries. So these vines are a potent symbol of reliability and stability. This is someone you can really depend on. He will always be there for you. And the vines themselves, of course, also show that all things that grapevines always show, symbolizing love of life, joy, abundance, and so on. Grass is growing richly beneath his feet to show great abundance again. Near his right foot bloom 2 yellow primroses. They are there to show the joy that underlies all the rest of the things on this card. And also because sometimes this man is shy. If those flowers are very obvious when you see this card, you can probably bet on it. Behind him are cultivated fields to show that this kind of wealth has to be cultivated. This guy isn't a wild child who needs his teeth filed. Adventures and wildness are often uncomfortable, and he simply doesn't enjoy that sort of thing. He likes a steady, predictable sort of life. And in order to have that, you have to plan and set things aside for that future, which really is what farming is all about. Saving the grain instead of consuming all of it, so that there is something to plant the following year. Weeding and hoeing now, so that there will be a good harvest in several months. Rotating your crops, so that the soil won't be exhausted. Basically, delaying your gratification. Since delayed gratification is one of the marks of wisdom and is so often necessary for stability and comfort, it is one of the primary lessons of the whole Pentacle suit, and so it's shown here. At the end of the field stands his castle. For this man, home really is his castle, with all that implies. Beyond it, gentle hills rise through the mist. The hills show enlightenment, as they do all through this particular deck. Like I said, this is the very first deck I had, and I love this deck. But these are gentle, so the enlightenment is also gentle, and not the result of traumatic experiences. They are wreathed in mist, because this man is wise enough to know what he does not know. The sky is the deep blue violet of twilight, because that is the time of rest, and midnight is the time of the north, which is aligned with the earth and pentacles in the first place. So, you do have the prospect of being stable, of being wealthy. Take your time, make a plan, and take steps to reach your goals. You have everything that it takes. I believe in you. If you would like a more detailed reading, please go to my website at www.conjureknits.com. I offer phone readings, video readings, and chat readings. Just click on one of the links at the top of the page. I look forward to speaking with you soon. Have an amazing Saturday. Bye-bye.